Hey everybody. The last video, so basically I'm sort of in the middle of trying to do something that I haven't really done before, and that's kind of take one service and kind of split it into and concept and kind of split it into two. And so far, like a few days ago when I finally came to the conclusion, oh man, I got to do this. This is something I got to do. I was like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. It might be better just to start the whole application from scratch, which probably sounds extreme. But then I kind of started down their path, and it hasn't been as bad as I thought. And I haven't actually done what I thought I was gonna do. Um, basically, I did decide instead of like kind of redoing the whole thing all in one fell swoop, what I would do is I'd remove um, the state variables and then sort of do the update that way, and then that would cause the um, and that would cause me kind of a to purify the actual um, functions. And then once they were completely pure and the state variables were no longer in with the service, um, it will be a lot easier to actually shift over the functionality, the functions and stuff. So then yesterday and kind of today, I was thinking about it and I was like, if I don't do this setup scene here, then that um, means that everywhere where I'm doing update scene, I'll add the setup scene from there, and then that means that um, this function really doesn't need to be in here anymore. That means like this function could exist in the service, the ThreeJS service, the three scene service, instead of in this sort of merged scene service. I'm basically unmerging something. I used to have this. There's this guy I just truly appreciate who I worked with at CNN, and I remember he used to say that a lot of things like that were like baking a cake and putting all the ingredients and then trying to unbake the cake after you baked it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. He would talk more like, because when because this was at CNN, and a lot of times we would have to do work, and then like people, literally teams all over the world, would merge all their stuff together, and all of our pieces would get sort of they would merge it into like one branch, and then we would test all our stuff and make sure it works. And if it didn't, we'd have to fix it there. And then we had like our own, like I was the developer, and then there was a QA that sort of was responsible, and we would kind of do this. But then there might be some developers in France or in Australia or any place else in the world, and they were doing changes, and sometimes like my changes would break them or their changes would break me or whatever, and we'd have to sort of figure it out. And it was sort of it was like a 30-day build cycle. So we would merge our stuff. It was continuous build, like there was continuous merges going in, but as these things rolled through, it would take like 30 days for a set. And like you might even cause a problem that would prevent everybody else who's in that sort of group that's moving through. So it was, some, especially at the last, like right before when it was in this thing called pre-prod, it was very, very complex because like you had to fix it there. If once it got to pre-prod, if something was broken, it had to be fixed sort of in flight, and then you had to kind of backwards fix it in all the other pieces, and that was the craziest time. But anyways, that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We have this sort of thing mixed together, and we're trying to tease it out into its original ingredients, which it never had original ingredients. We're making the more atomic ingredients. So the next thing I thought would be pretty useful is if I actually didn't call this scene service here. And if I didn't call this scene service here, then I don't need this. So this is nice because this will sort of ferret out everywhere where all the pieces are broken. And this is that. So so I'm up to 164 subscribers, which has been pretty cool. Like in the last 4 days, I've gotten like 8 subscribers. Now, what's really wild is that like literally of my last 40 or 50 subscribers, um, only like none of them, not a single one of them has had their like where I could see who they are. There was one guy that who has but he's also like a creator, so he has a really cool website where he does like a lot of Blender and 3JS stuff and other things, sort of more higher level than 3JS. And he has a really cool page, but like he's the only one in like over a month, maybe even 2 months, that has had their profile where you could see that they did it. Because what happens is if you subscribe to my channel and you have like all your information saved, I'll get an email saying, "Hey, so and so subscribed." But if you have your information to where you want to keep your information very private, I won't get that email, and I'll just notice that my subscriber count will increase, and I I feel validated by that. And the reason I feel validated by that is because I've gotten really touchy and like about my own, like sharing my own information. Like I literally don't take my phone with me to lots of places just because I've gotten so like suspicious of the data that's being collected about me. And just the fact that like literally everybody else who finds this sort of same stuff as me interesting have come to the same conclusions makes me feel like I'm probably on the right track. And then like today, I heard like a bunch of like 9 people got like killed by their pagers, and um like 4,000 people or 400 people or 900 people, some large number of people got injured by their pagers, and it seems like it was an attack. And there's like a lot of energy in my phone, and like I have felt very unsafe with my phone as of recently, and I was more like felt unsafe because it felt dangerous to me. But now I'm like, because it felt like the tracking information, all that. But now I'm like, man, am I like just genuinely unsafe? Like, is it generally like a ticking time bomb that I'm carrying around? And if some bad actor decides to push a button, like it's going to do something crazy, you know? I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to be putting my phone in my. I'm not going to keep my phone on my body. Um, very much anymore unless I absolutely have to. But anyways, that's just kind of a I don't know. Like I don't know how people feel about like their personal information and safety. But I am absolutely very pleased to see that I actually seem to only call this update scene once. So let me go there and let's update that. And yeah, so it looks like I can just get rid of this and say this dot scene service dot setup scene, and I think I need to put that information in here. So I won't need that information once I actually move it over. And let's see. Man, okay, so this is so nice because like I was expecting that to be a lot more work than it turned out to be. So that's nice. So then I think I have a setup scene function in here, right? Yeah, I have setup scene. So I can get rid of the setup. Let's see how long. 9 minutes. Okay, let's just go with it. If I remove setup scene from here, then everywhere where I call setup scene should break. And there's a couple of them, and that doesn't surprise me. But, and I think in this 3 service setup scene, I don't have to pass. I'll have to pass in the scene item for it to, yeah, which makes sense because like it wouldn't know what the scene item is. So let's see. Let's find this and see, is the scene item. So in this, the scene item is not readily available. Um, So let's see. Can I get the scene item from here very easily? I cannot. Um, so I think that's good. I think I need to add a function in here that says like get scene item. And it returns a scene item interface, and it returns this dot scene item, and we'll just return it. Return. All right, so that's good. That's real good. And then what I can do over here is I can say this dot scene service dot get scene item. And what is it complaining about? Oh, silly rabbit. I just got really confused. That's what I get for thinking about all this stuff. Okay, so update scene. Okay. This scene service setup scene, it wants the scene item, right? This dot scene service. And they're saying that the scene service, is it because I didn't save? Maybe I didn't save. Get. Did I misspell something? And then let's go back here. This setup scene. Okay, so it's saying that the scene service does not have a setup scene. And that is what I just deleted. And our 3 service does have a setup scene, but it wants a scene item. So I just got very confused because there was 2 things I needed to do. I needed to change this to 3 service setup scene, 3 service. And then oh, that's so funny. This is such symmetry here. So yeah, get scene item. It's like that whole, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Because yeah, I just added that, but the whole idea was to get this. What did I do? Scene service setup scene. What am I doing? Who am I? Where am I? Okay, I had a spelling error. Spelling! 4th grade all over again. All right. All right. Yes. Okay, let's move you over. Let's move you up. Upside down, you're turning me. Oh, upside down. That was the last. I think that was the last truly famous disco song. It's Diana Ross, Upside Down, You're Turning Me. And I was like, so sad because I was like, and then there was and I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that was the very last disco station. And I think that might have been the very last song that they played before they called it quits and became like a hard rock, heavy metal station. Sorry, I got the PTSDs from losing my disco, and that was the end of the shiny shirts. So yeah, it looks like we are good. We are good. So basically, the ThreeJS service is now handling the setup scene, which probably should be changed to like update scene. And Seam service now is like literally not even at all, doesn't have anything to do with the scene anymore. So like it only has um, it's the only concepts it has now are purely uh, Showtime concepts. So like in effect, that means that I could take this Showtime service here and just literally I could just copy and paste everything. And I think that is pretty much what I have over here. Uptime. Yeah, I think I can just start using this ThreeJS service. It's just or this Showtime service. Let's look at scene service of yeah. Yeah, I think it has I think it's called get is it called get scene? And that does make sense that it would be called get scene because you have the context of that it's the Showtime in the name of the of that. So let's just change that just to make our lives a little bit easier tomorrow. Just one less problem. It will be super easy. It'll be significant. It's going to be just trivial to fix today, and then tomorrow it's just going to take a little bit of thought. But like why deal with that? Oh, uh, I guess the other big question mark is should I see in this one? It doesn't even seem like we have the scene item. It got passed in, but I guess we should use the one from the scene service, not from the not the one that's passed in, but like the legit one because it's too legit to quit. Um, so I was a full-grown adult when that became popular. Um, but yeah, it's too legit to quit. Um, anyways, yeah. So it looks like we are good. We're jamming, and yeah, the thing that I was just despondent and sad about um, was nothing to be despondent and sad about. Um, I the only thing that I had to fear was fear itself. So here we are. Everything's working. I think tomorrow it's going to be super simple. All I have to do tomorrow is, I think, um, just shift stuff over. Just shift this all the basically just delete the scene service, everything out of this, scene service, um, and then, maybe it'll probably make sense to kind of do this stuff in the constructor. In Showtime, I think, yeah, I have the ability to get scenes and um, and all that. So like everything's in here. I don't. So yeah, tomorrow I'll just like come in here and I'll just literally just delete update scene and fix everything that's broken by basically have it facing to Showtime scene, and then uh, theoretically when I delete these two and that, um, all I'll have is a constructor in there and everything should just work. And if it does, let's see, while I'm here, the other thing I want to do that will be very easy for me to forget is let's go ahead and make these private. So that'll enforce discipline on me tomorrow. Um, so both of those, so nothing will have access directly to these seed items. They'll have to get either the scene here or the scenes there, and then maybe it might make sense to just get rid of one of these things, and just probably the get scene because I believe I do publish the scenes. Um, so it might make sense to get rid of the scene, get scene, um, and then I'll have to then that's just one less thing to worry about. Um, But anyways, what are we at? 19, right at 20 minutes. So that was awesome. Um, I'm definitely feeling like I thought I was feeling like 100% on Monday. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday I thought I was feeling like 100. It's actually on Sunday I felt like I was feeling 100%. And then I felt so much better on Monday that I was just like, "Oh man, now this is 100%." And now I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday. Although my poor dog got bit by a copperhead snake while we were walking to the park on Sunday, and her leg got all swollen up, and she was in a good bit of pain, but yeah, we just gave her a couple. We gave her a Benadryl, and um, basically it happens all the time here. My wife, she does a show. I mention it all the time, and she typically has somewhere between 150 and 250 people watching her on a daily basis. So she runs this show. It's kind of crazy because like she can literally she can pay all our bills and everything on that show with like 100, and she just has to entertain about 150 people. um, and you just think about all the millions of people that are doing that, like that are just literally just entertaining a small number of people to a relatively small number of people. You know, it is such an incredible thing. But anyways, of her 150 people that were watching her on Sunday, and most of them live in the southeast of the United States where we live. Um, Nine people's dogs got bit by copperhead snakes on Sunday, because apparently copperhead snakes are in, um, they're like nesting right now, so they're very, very aggressive. Um, I was glad because we have a Jack Russell Terrier, which is a much smaller dog. So that would have been a lot harder on the Jack Russell if the Jack Russell had gotten bit. And, it probably would have been easier on me, but I don't know. I'm glad I didn't get bit. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.